Yeah, that's right. I see the chat. I see y'all rocking. I see y'all coming. Hit that like button as you enter the building. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like button. Show your love. Show your support. You know what I'm saying? This that dope soul. This that new thing. Nobody don't know about it.
Salute, Knick family. Welcome to the Knicks Morning Vibe recap show. What's the vibe this morning? How we feeling? The Knicks lost to the Cleveland Cavaliers at Madison Square Garden, 89-95. You know, the second game of a back-to-back in Cleveland. We won ugly, and last night we lost ugly. I mean, Cleveland didn't play lights out either. You know, there was a lot of lead changes. Neither team shot particularly well. But that third quarter killed the Knicks. 13 points. I think Cleveland scored 22. In the fourth quarter, we're going back and forth. We're missing shots. I said, you know what? Whoever hits the next shot is going to win the game. We could not get a timely shot. What happens? Donovan Mitchell comes down, hits 2 shots in a row with about 2 minutes to go. Game over. I mean, obviously we had more time, but we didn't, we didn't do much. So we'll get into that and much more. We're off to Milwaukee Friday in Milwaukee for a game that also counts towards the in-season tournament. Milwaukee is 2-2. They got blown out by Atlanta last night. They're, I think, 29th in offensive rating or something like that. So they're not, they're not playing their best. They're going to be ready to rock against the Knicks on Friday. And hopefully, we have not been playing our best. Hopefully, we're ready to rock as well. Salute to everybody joining me in the chat, those that's going to drop in later, and of course, the replay gang. I appreciate you. Salute to all my Patreons, including my new Patreon last night. Of course, I didn't get the name, but I'll create a slide for all of my Patreons. I do appreciate you supporting me. And just give me a minute as I try to find my flow in terms of putting out content. I was rocking with NBK. Shout out to NBK last night. Eru was there. Evergreen, who I hadn't seen in a while. Isaiah. Sim, of course. Tony Crow was there. BX Chris was there. And everybody who came by for the game had a great time. But of course, I didn't get home until like 1 o'clock. So I say all of that to say I am going to do my post-game podcast for the Patreons. I'm just having a time right now. All right. Let's get into the starters for last night's game. Jalen Brunson, Quentin Grimes, Josh Hart started for RJ Barrett, who was out with knee soreness. Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson for Cleveland, Donovan Mitchell, Max Strus, Isaac Okoro, George Niang started for them last night. Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, and Darius Garland remained out. Let's get into this. I don't know if I should say debacle, but let's get into this. You know, both teams did not play well, particularly in the first quarter. They shot a combined 17 of 41. In the first 5 minutes, both teams combined had just 10 points. We were 1 of 7 from 3, right? So neither team was at their best. We've been struggling trying to find our shot, trying to find this continuity that we've all been talking about, right? Those who wanted to stay the same, let's see what this team can do. Let's not really make changes. We got continuity going for us. We haven't seen it yet. We're struggling. But so is Cleveland. I thought the third quarter, did us in. We scored 13 points in the third quarter. 13. Cleveland scored 22. Quickly had 8 of his 13 in that third quarter. Mobley had 9 points in the third quarter. We took 23 shots in that third quarter. We hit 6 of them. 6. We took 8 3-pointers in that third quarter. We made 1. How many times did we turn the ball over? 5. Okay, Cleveland wasn't much better. From 3, they were 1 of 5, but they were better than us in that third quarter. The fourth quarter, we were able to cut it to 2 with, I don't know, a little over 2 minutes, 3 minutes left in the game. Donovan Mitchell come down, whack, whack. Twice in a row. 4 points, about 2 minutes left. And that really turned out to be the game. In that fourth quarter, how did we shoot from 3? 1 for 8. Just wasn't our shots. Well, excuse me, just wasn't our night as far as shooting is concerned. And we couldn't get that timely shot. And you'll see, sometimes a team doesn't shoot well throughout the game. And they scratch and they claw. They hit a timely shot in the fourth quarter to bring them back. We just weren't able to do that. And remember, in those fourth quarters, when we're close, remember, crunch time is under 5 minutes in the game when you're within 5 points. Brunson closed a lot of those games for us last season. And I don't mean closed in the sense that he was on the court, like closed, in terms of hit some key baskets for us in crunch time. And that wasn't the case last night. He was 2 of 5 from the field in that fourth quarter, 4 of 5 from the line. I think he did hit one crunch time bucket, but Brunson is off, and we'll talk about that. Randle scored all 6 of his points in the first half. Now, he talked about, let me see if I have, do I have the quote? Let me see if I have the quote, because he talked about it last night. Yeah, I have it right here. He said, spacing was the issue. He said after the Knicks missed 25 of 30 3-point attempts, everything is just pretty packed in. We're working really hard for everything. We're just looking at a lot of bodies out there whenever we're catching the ball. So we just got to figure out a way to open it up a little bit. Listen, teams saw how Miami played the Knicks in the playoffs. This is not a consistently good shooting team. Pack it in the key and dare them to beat you from the outside. If they hit their shots, they're going to win the game. If they don't, you're going to win. Bet on them not hitting their shots. So they're packing it in the key. There was still ample opportunity for Randle, right? He gets the ball in the key, shoot. Just shoot. You cut into the key, you get the ball, shoot. What were you trying to get a better shot than you were getting? Right there in the key, start dribbling around. Like what? You just said there wasn't a lot of spacing. You just said they were packing it in. So what are you going to do? You're going to dribble? You're going to put the ball on the floor? You're going to allow them to collapse even more? So now as you're trying to pass it out, they're getting their hands on the ball, they're tipping it, they're deflecting it, they're getting steals. I mean, like, come on. He was getting the ball in some really nice spots, and all he needed to do was just pull up. Wow. That wasn't the case. I thought he was trying to do too much with the ball last night and wind up not doing much of anything. He has to be better. He has to be better. He's shooting, I think, 27% from the field on the season. 5 games, small sample size, but still 27%. Brunson not doing much better, 38% on the season. Both of them guys have to get themselves together. At least with Brunson, he's getting to his spots and missing. Randle is not getting to his spots. That was one thing about last season. I was like, wow, look at his shot diet. He knows where his spots are. He had like 5 shot spots, maybe 6 last season. And he only took shots from those spots. He got to his spots, he took his shot. He made them or he missed, but he knew where his shots were. This season, I mean, obviously, like you said, teams are crowding him. They're taking it away. Figure it out. Just take the shot that you're given and stop trying to do too much with the ball. Hopefully he gets better because we need him. Any hopes the Knicks have? Any hopes the Knicks have of getting to the Eastern Conference Finals? For some Knicks fans, of even making the playoffs? Because Randle is doing what he does. it's going to be really difficult for us to do much of anything without Julius Randle. Like him, hate him, doesn't matter. On this particular team, he's the best, if not one of our best. He's one of our best, if not best player on the team. And we're gonna need him to rock if we have any hopes of having a decent season. Now, and we'll get into individual players in the in the next segment, but I want to talk about our shooting overall. We're shooting a league low 40% from the field. Out of 30 teams, we're number 30. As far as offensive rating, I think last season we were top 5, maybe 3, 9, maybe 4. Right now we're 27. We're 27. And 3-point percentage, we're 19, about where we were last year. And 2-point percentage, not even including threes, just twos, we're 30th in the league, 44.2%. From two. Free throw shooting, we're 28th out of 30 teams, shooting 69.3%. I mean, like, come on. Like, come on. And this was my number one concern, and you kept hearing me saying it. Everybody's talking about ball movement and player movement, and I'm not saying that that isn't important. But my number one concern coming into the season was our shooting. Because all of these backdoor cuts you want to do, all of these ball movement and not ball movement, excuse me, player movement and backdoor cuts, if you're not shooting the ball well and they're packing it in the key, how many points you think you're going to get on a backdoor cut? I think DiVincenzo scored a basket. All right, maybe you get 1 or 2 baskets. You want to have a dynamic offense. You want to take your offense to the next level along with our offensive rebounding, the way we get to the line, the number of 3-point shots we put up. This is how we scored last season. You want to take it to another level? Start shooting the ball like an NBA team. I mean, come on. That's going to open up so much for us. And that's not something that we're doing right now. Now, do I anticipate we're going to remain 30th in field goal percentage? No, I don't. Do I think we're going to remain 30th in 2-point percentage? I don't. 28th in free throw percentage? I don't. But this is where we are right now. And if we don't get it together, we can find ourselves 4 and 6 after 10. Up 6 and 13 after 20. If we don't turn this around, and if individual players don't turn it around. Randle, Brunson. Now, RJ was out and we missed him. He's playing really well for us this season. And you can argue that if RJ Barrett was there, we would have had enough to beat them. I still think because they went down Darius Garland and Jarrett Allen, we still had enough, right? But it didn't look like him because we was down RJ Barrett and Julius Randle, right? 2 for 2. All right. Let me see before I get to individual players if there's anything else. This is what IQ had to say about Julius Randle. And this is pretty much how I feel. He said, I don't doubt Julius at all. If you look at what he's done since he's been here, 2 All-NBAs, 2 All-Stars, near 60 points in a game, he works. He's probably one of the hardest workers I've ever been around. So I'm sure he'll bounce back. I'm not worried about that. Let me know in the chat, and I'm going to check in with you in a minute if you're worried about Julius Randle. If you think this is how he's going to play for the rest of the season, let me know about that. All right, let me check in with the chat before I get to top game scorers. Oh, wait a minute. There was something else I wanted to talk about here, I wanted to talk about. We'll talk about DiVincenzo in the next. We'll talk about DiVincenzo in the next segment. Let me check in with the chat. Coach, well, this is the off year, so he should be all NBA next year. Yeah, I know. This is what fans on Twitter and just overall has been talking about his up and down um, career since he's been here um, in New York. Jeff, appreciate you. Historically bad start for Julius. 27 from the field, 27% from the field through 5 games. The small sample size is growing. Okay. Sherwin, the only issue with Randle is his shots is not falling. He is passing and rebounding. His defense is not Sherwin. No, no, no. Maybe before last night, you can say, he's taking his shots. The shots he usually takes, they're just not falling. I see that with Brunson. He's getting to his spots. He's taking his shots. They're just not falling. Did you see Julius Randle bumbling last night? Did you see Julius Randle forcing the issue? When they would pass him the ball right in the key, did you not see him, instead of pulling up for his shot, trying to dribble and make something more happen where there was no space for that? His decision making, I'm not going to say overall, because remember, we were just singing his praises. I think it was 2 games ago when he only took 2 shots. I think he had 17 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists. So his shooting has been bad the entire season, but you're right in the sense that his passing, his rebounding has been good for most of these 5 games. But last night, no. His decision making wasn't good. His shot selection wasn't good. He was forcing it, making things harder for himself than it needed to be. Am I worried? No. He's going to get it together. But I'm not going to say the only issue, particularly last night, was that his shot wasn't forward. There was more than that last night. All right. We need Randle to score. That's what I said. Bottom line, if we're going to be successful, we need it. I'm not buying into the whole mental stuff, something like I'm not buying into that. Brunson and Randall were arguing multiple times. Whatever. Listen, this is what happens on teams. This is what happens. Players go at each other. I'm not concerned about that. I know it's 5 games, but I'm officially concerned. All right. Dwayne Dennis. The front office dropped the ball this offseason with not addressing the team needs. A 3-and-D small forward, a backup power forward, and a backup point guard. Yeah. I mean, they took a chance. They took a chance that they were going to run it back, and just added DiVincenzo, I don't know if they added him for more shooting, or if they added him for insurance, in case they made a mid-season. Like, I'm not sure what the reasoning was, but yeah, you can fault the players. If you want to get on Tibbs for the team not coming out the gate ready, I think that's fair, but we can't leave the front office out. Particularly if this goes south, we cannot leave the front office out. Soon he got it. Randall said all he could do was watch film, so now he overthinks everything. He does seem to be overthinking. Building blocks, I'm waiting and welcome. The ankle is not healed excuse, because anything else to hear is not encouraging. All right. Let's see. All right. How long is it going to take before Tom yanks Grimes from the starting lineup? There's too many players in the starting lineup not scoring the ball. I mean, Grimes doesn't get a lot of opportunity. I think if you're making a change, I don't know if it's because Grimes is not doing what he's doing or if it's just there's somebody else who could do it better. Yeah. Our lack of size and ball movement is the reason why we lost. We had 18 assists, but we missed twice as many teammates. Brunson and Quickly are the main two to blame. Randle was afraid to shoot. Sherwin, you my guy. I appreciate you. You show up here every day, and I appreciate you. But I'm not sure what game you watched last night. How you gonna get assists? How you gonna win when you're not right with it? Like, how you gonna get assists when you're shooting 17% from three and 35% from the field? I mean, it takes two to tangle. You get an assist because you pass the ball and somebody makes the basket. We shot 17% from three. So if you want to say the ball movement wasn't there, that's fine. That's from observation, but assist can't be your proof of lack of ball movement. We could not hit. We took 92 shots. Cleveland only took 74. So we took, 18 more shots? We hit 32 shots. We took 30 3-pointers. We made 5. You're not going to get assists, if you're not moving the ball. Excuse me, if you're not scoring baskets. And listen, I felt the same way about Quick. I thought Quick was coming, just putting up shots, not forcing it, but just looking for his own shot. But let me tell you something. In that second half, the Knicks were dead in the water. Thank God Quickly can create his own shot. Where would we be? He had 14 of his 18 points in the second half. We don't have a lot of players on this team that could create shots. So if you're not shooting well, passing it around, players getting an open shot, clanging it off the side of the rim. If you're not shooting well, you need players who can create their own shot. Any other game you want to criticize Quickly for looking for his own shot? Not last night. We needed everything we can get to try to make something happen because we just could not score. And this is the positive. Everyone talk about ISO plays. Basically, for me, you need players that can take their own shot. And yeah, play within the flow of the offense, no doubt. But when things are breaking down, I got it. And that was Quickly for us last night. So I have no complaints about Quickly last night. We needed that. His infusion. Right. Instead of these questions, in the chat, put up a sign asking if they hit the thumbs up button yet. That's right. We got 47 in the chat. We got 17 likes. 17 likes. Hit that like button. Jerrell, I appreciate you. One of my Patreons as well. AJ Juju needs to grow his hair back like Samson. Strength is in the hair. You might be right. Oh. Moving the ball means nothing if the end result is usually a brick. CC, this is a game Fournier should have played. We needed shooting, but Tibbs, shout out to Benji. Benji cornered me outside the Garden last night. And he said, look, Queen's Court, you and Sim need to start, I guess advocating for Fournier to play. He could shoot, blah, blah, blah. Shout out to Benji, for watching the show. Listen, I've said how I felt about, Fournier. He was in our starting lineup 2 seasons ago. The Knicks had a top 10 defense because of the players around him. You know, you bring in Brunson. It's hard to start Brunson and Fournier, but there's room. We have more perimeter defenders now, so there is room to surround him with better defenders. You bring in Dante DiVincenzo, though. Where's he going to play? You don't bring in Dante DiVincenzo to sit him on the bench. Right now, our guards are getting, 20 to 25 minutes a game? It's just not enough minutes to go around. Then you're going to add Fournier to the mix. Just not enough minutes to go around. However, last night, RJ Barrett was out. Last season when RJ Barrett was out, Fournier was the situational guy. Fournier took his spot. Now he went with Josh Hart. He was all right. He gives up a lot of shots, in my opinion. There's plenty of opportunities for him to take shots that he just, doesn't. So he was okay. McBride came in, so he was the situational guy. He got some minutes last night. McBride didn't hurt us. I thought his defense was good. I thought he took shots within the flow of the offense. Could we have gotten more with Fournier, again, surrounded by who quickly, Grimes at the 2, Fournier at the 3, Hart at the 4, Hartenstein? Yeah, I think we would have been fine. For whatever reason, Fournier is just not part of the plan. He's just not part of the plan. So yeah. Yeah. Or even Dante and IQ. Yeah, even Dante and IQ. All right, let's get to the individual players. Brunson, 25 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 34.8% from the field. I believe it was 0 for 2 from 3. Hit 88.9% from the free throw line. And still, again, shooting 38% from the field, getting to his spots, not hitting his shots. He just don't look right, on the offensive end. At least tonight, the turnovers weren't crazy like the night before, but he's still working his way back. Quickly, 18 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 43.8% from the field. I think he was 0 from 3 from the 3-point line, 66.7% from the field. Like I said, I thought he gave us the spark we needed in the second half. 14 of his 18 points, 18 of his 28 minutes in the second half. And I think this is how it's going to go with our guards. You play well in the first half, or early in the second half, you may close the game and see some fourth quarter minutes. Quickly played every minute in the fourth quarter. 12 minutes in the fourth. In that fourth quarter, he had 6 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 of 6 from the field, didn't hit any 3-pointers in that fourth quarter. I thought, if you look at how we played overall, I think Quickly was one of the bright spots last night. DiVincenzo, 16 points, 2 steals, 3 threes, shot 50% from the field, 42.9% from 3, only 60% from the line. He's another one that played the entire fourth quarter. 4 points, hit a 3, had 1 rebound, had 2 steals, had 1 block. He seems to be coming into his own. I really like what I'm seeing from him. I like his on-ball defense, and I like his off-ball defense. That block, he just came into the play to get the block. His hands is active, the steals, and not just, putting his hand in the passing lane and getting the steal, just ripping it. So I really like what I'm seeing from him. I think the advantage Grimes has or had was that, as Tony would say, Grimes can guard up. He's a 2, but he can guard 3s. He's a 2, but you could put him on 4s. I saw DiVincenzo guarding up last, and we didn't have a choice. RJ Barrett was not in the game. So we had players, Dante was guarding 3s as well. And I thought he was effective. So I like what I'm seeing from him, and I think we're going to get, hopefully more and more of this as he acclimates himself. I like his shot. He takes him within the flow of the game. You can argue that he may pass a bit too much. Probably not. It's just that, the team is not used to him yet. Um, there was one play, Chris, shout out to BX Chris, who was at the game last night, pointed it out. The pick and roll with him and Randle, he threw it to the spot Randle was supposed to be at, and the left side was wide open, but Randle didn't pick and roll to the basket. He picked and flared out, and turned the ball over. So it's going to take some time, for them to get it together as far as Dante DiVincenzo is concerned. But I really liked what I saw from him. Robinson, 5 points, 16 rebounds, 2 blocks. Robinson is not shooting well from the field. He's right under the basket. Somebody let me know what you're seeing. 33.3% from the field last night. I think he was 1 of 3. Obviously, he doesn't take threes. He was 50% from the free throw line again. And for those of us who said, just give me 50, just give me 50 from the line, the past 2 games, that's what we're getting from Mitchell Robinson. Somebody let me know in the chat if you have it, what Mitchell Robinson is shooting on the season. I think it's 50%. I do want to mention, Brunson had his 5,000, scored his 5,000th point in his career last night, and I believe RJ Barrett is about 16 points, if I'm not mistaken, from scoring his 5,000th point as well. All right, here's the shooting numbers. We talked about it. 35% from the field, 17% from the three-point line, 67% from the free throw line. It's hard to win that way. It's hard to win that way. Cleveland didn't shoot much better overall, 43%. They shot 37.5% from 3, which is really good, and 95% from the free throw line. They didn't go as much as the Knicks, though. They went 20 times. They hit 19 of it. And this is what the Knicks do. So if you're just looking at the free throw percentage, you're like, wow, we only shot 67%. They shot 95%. But if you look at the actual points from free throws, they got 19, we got 20. So we got 1 more point from the free throw line. And this is how the Knicks score. They're into volume. We don't shoot free throws well. But if we can get up 30 of them and hit 20, that's 20 points for us. They can shoot it at 95%, but they only went 20 times and hit 19. So we still got 1 more point. This is how the Knicks play, the volume game. Same thing with field goal percentage. Tibbs know we're not a good shooting team. So what do you do when you're not a good shooting team? You get up more attempts. They hit 32 field goals. The Knicks hit 32 field goals. You understand? This is why the game was close. The Knicks hit 32 field goals. We had to take 92 shots to hit the 32 field goals, but we hit 32 field goals. So this is important to understand when we're looking at how the Knicks shoot. Also look at how many shots they took and look at how many field goals they made compared to the other team. It was the same, 32. The free throw shooting. We got up 30 of them. They got up 32, but they hit 12 of theirs. We only hit 5 of ours. That's the difference in the game right there. That's the difference in the game right there. Even if you don't look at the percentages and you just look at the raw numbers in terms of attempts and made shots, the difference was the 3-point makes. We only made 5 of them. They made 12. There you go. So we have to get better in that regard. The Knicks are going absolutely nowhere if they can't shoot the ball. Right? How to play the Knicks is out now. I talked about that in the beginning of the show. We're going to do what Miami did. Pack in the key. Pack it in. Let them prove to me that they can shoot. And not just one person. One person hitting threes is not going to make a team abandon their strategy of packing it in. You got to have multiple players hitting threes. Just like when a team is in a zone, which it's similar to a zone. When a team is in the zone, one player hitting a three is not going to take a team out of a zone. Multiple players hitting threes, okay, we're gonna have to come out of the zone. This is what the Knicks are gonna see. All right. I'm gonna check in with the chat. This is just a visual of the flow of the game. You know, Cleveland in the beginning, a little bit of Knicks, a little bit of Cleveland, a little bit of Knicks, a little bit of Cleveland, a little bit of Knicks, on, and then all Cleveland from like 5 minutes in the third to the end of the game. You know, we was in there. We was in there, but just not enough for it to show. Just not enough for it to show up on the lead tracker, right? There were the biggest lead for Cleveland was 9. The biggest lead for the Knicks were 5. The game was tied 10 times. There was 10 lead changes. The longest run, which was probably by Cleveland, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, was 9. Right? I don't think there's anybody else I want to talk about as far as the box score is concerned, but let me just take a quick look. Josh Hart in his start, he played 30 minutes. It did not seem like it. He played 30 minutes. He took 14 shots. He was 5 of 14. 1 of 5. He actually took 5 3-pointers. So he took the shots, 11 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, turned the ball over twice. We talked about Randle. We talked about Mitch. Mitch actually had 6 points. I may have had him up for 5. He had 6 points, 16 rebounds, 2 block shots. Talked about Brunson. Quentin Grimes played 21 minutes, took 7 shots. When we talk about how many shots Grimes should be getting, we also have to keep in mind how many minutes he's playing. You're not getting 15 shots in 20 minutes. But last night he got 7 shots in 21 minutes. He was 1 of 6 from 3, 2 of 7 overall, 5 points, 2 rebounds, and assists, a steal. I saw him bring the ball up the court a few times. I'm in the stands. Hercules, Hercules. Grimes is bringing the ball up the court. I tell you, this is how bad we're playing. That I'm getting excited because, Grimes is bringing the ball up, up the court. Is like digging down into the sleeve, trying to get the last cracker out of out of the Ritz cracker sleeve. Like, just so excited that there's one cracker left. We just gotta get better. The things I'm getting excited about, the things that the fans are getting excited about, it just lets you know we getting excited over tiny things because we're just not good right now. Dante DiVincenzo, I talked about. Isaiah Hartenstein only played 16 minutes. He didn't score. 0 for 2. Did have 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals. The Knicks are really, ramping it up as far as the steals are concerned. We had 10 steals last night, and Hart led us in steals with 3. McBride played 10 minutes, 9.5 minutes. He hit a shot. No. Yeah, he hit a shot. He hit a free throw. He also had 2 steals in his limited minutes. I think I covered everybody as far as the box score is concerned. Team stats. Yeah. Let me see what I got. We talked about the poor shooting. We out-rebounded Cleveland by 4. We only had 13 turnovers. We were +6 as far as points in the paint. We were +10 as far as second chance points. We had 16 offensive rebounds to their 6. This is what allowed us to have 92 and 94 points. Because of these second chance opportunities, you miss, you get the offensive rebounds, you get another opportunity. And we were led in those offensive rebounds by Mitch, who had 8. 8. And he also had 8 defensive rebounds. I'm really feeling Mitch with the defensive rebounds, particularly when Randle has an off rebounding game. He had 16 rebounds, 8 offensive, 8 defensive. Hart had 3 offensive rebounds. Quickly and iHart both had 2. And when you shoot poor, you need multiple opportunities at the basket, and we got that last night. We gave up 14 fast break points. The Knicks were doing better as far as fast break points, but last night they only got 8. And bench points, we outscored them by just 2. Now, Hart, who's part of our bench, started. So, that may have hurt us a little bit. But 37-35 plus 2 as far as bench points is concerned. And I talked about this already. Overall, on the season, last in field goal percentage, 19th in three-point percentage, 28th in free throw percentage, 27th in offensive rating, 27th in assists, 22nd in pace, 17th in fast break points, but number 2 in defense. Number 2. So I'm going to ask you, are we number 2 because we're really digging in there and playing good defense? Or are we number 2 because teams are just not hitting shots? I think our defense is really good. I like the scramble. I like us. We're not very big, so you may get to a spot and they still may shoot over you, right? We're not very tall, but I really see the Knicks scrambling on defense, and then you got Mitchell Robinson back there really patrolling the paint. I think I read somewhere that Mobley had 9 points in the third quarter when Mitchell Robinson wasn't in the game. I just read that. I don't know how true it is. I read that in one of the articles. Mitchell Robinson is doing a great job patrolling the paint and really, just really discouraging players from even coming in there. So kudos to Mitchell Robinson. And for everybody that said, oh, he wasn't getting defensive rebounds because he's out on the perimeter, he's playing the same way this year and he's getting the defensive rebounds because he's stronger. He's stronger. All right. Friday, we played Milwaukee. I'm going to check in with the chat one more time before we get out of here. Friday, we're in Milwaukee. The Knicks are 2-3. It's early, but we're 9th in the Eastern Conference play-in team right now. Milwaukee is 2-2. They're 6th in the Eastern Conference. We lost our last game, so did they. They got beat bad, let's put it that way, by Atlanta. Offensive rating, we're 27th. They're 11th. Defensive rating, we're 2. They're 29th. So what's going to prevail? Our defense against their offense or vice versa, their offense against our stingy defense. We shall see. I listen, the Knicks aren't the only ones trying to figure it out. Randle is not the only player, star player struggling the first half of, early in the season. Teams are going to figure it out, and some teams are going to not figure it out. I need the Knicks to be one of the teams that figures it out. Our net rating is 13. The difference between our offense and defense is a plus 1.4. So our defense is keeping us in games. If we can just get the shooting, we'll be fine. And Milwaukee, the difference between their offense and defense is a negative 6.6. And this just tells you how we're doing up to this point. The reality is it means absolutely nothing once we get to Milwaukee. It's going to be about that game. All right. We haven't played each other this season, so the record against each other is 0-0. I hope RJ Barrett is back. If he is, it'll be Jalen, Quentin Grimes, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson. If he's not, do we go back with Josh Hart? Or does Evan Fournier start? And even if Evan Fournier doesn't start, does he get some time next game? I wouldn't put any money on it. They start Dame Lillard. Remember, new addition from Portland, Malik Beasley, Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Brook Lopez. Now, Brook Lopez is a stretch 5. It gives Mitch, trouble because Mitch wants to. I don't know if that's a Mitch thing. I think it's just our schemes. But I do think Mitch just over commits to the drive before the drive. It's one thing if the player puts the ball on the floor and you rotate over, Mitch, the player just has it in their hand and Mitch is already leaning to that side. And so a lot of times he gives up, he gives up the 3. We'll see. We'll see what's next. Tonight, the Just Nickin' It show. Is it time to panic? That's what we'll be talking about tonight. So join me, Ajay, Jerrell, Jeff Klafter, and whoever else joins us tonight, 9 p.m. The Just Nickin' show. I'll be back Saturday for the morning recap show. The weekend shows are panel shows, so it'll be me and Staffer and whoever else wants to join. And then Monday, 8:30 p.m., I'm back in my weekly spot, Queens Court. Nothing but Knicks. Support the channel, like, comment, share, subscribe. Download the Just Nickin' It audio podcast wherever you get your podcast. Google, Apple, Spotify. I'm there. Become a Patreon. Get that post-game audio pod, which I did not do last night because I got in late. The newsletter, those will be weekly newsletters and giveaways just for Patreons. Thank you, Patreons. I'll have your name up. Hopefully, I'll get to that and I'll be able to do that tonight. Lady in the Chef. Wait, hold on. Let me get to the next one first. Spread love. It's the Dope Soul Way, 2 Knicks Chicks podcast. You may have remember them from when we did our women's show, Diva Locks and Lady in the Chef, who's in the chat right now. We want to try to get them to 100 subscribers by the end of the week. Okay, so everybody that's in there, in your search bar, put 2, the number 2, Knicks Chicks. Subscribe to the channel. I think they got about 4 or 5 shows out right now. I've watched all of them, and they're great. They're really calm, so you ain't gonna get me, all loud all over the place. They're gonna be really calm and chill and let you know how they feel about it. All right, Lady in the Chef, salute Queen to the chat. The Knicks have to work on cohesion as a team and consistency. As a team, they have to be able to win back-to-backs, especially against the same team, and especially against a team without their starting center and their starting point guard. You have to win that game. And you're at home, right? You would think that the tougher game would be the one in Cleveland. You got that. Now you're coming home. We didn't do it. Staffer, I appreciate you. Let me go through the chat on my way out the door. Salute to Wiz, Knicks 100. A GM, Knicks are nice. Knicks today. He said it's not complicated. Trade Randle and Fournier for Towns. Nah. I'm okay with Towns coming, but not for Randle. I'd like to see both of them play together. Randle is going to get it together, guys. I mean, the first half of go back to the first 5-7 games of last season. He wasn't great there either. Dirty Dance of the Bucks no show as often as we do this year. Yeah. I wonder if the Bucks fans are down on the team after being 2-2. This is a must win for them. Yeah, no doubt. Knicks are nice. RJ might rest one more game. If he needs to, I think he should. He's been playing well. We can definitely use him, between Randle, Brunson, and RJ. RJ's been playing the best so far in his early season. So we can definitely use him. My concern is he was in such a rhythm when he comes back from missing, I don't know, 1, maybe 2 games. I hope he finds his rhythm quickly. I remember he was in a good rhythm last season before the Dallas game, and he hurt his thumb. And when he came back, he wasn't able to find it until the playoffs. So I hope that's not the case. Shout out to Dirty Dancer, Geoff, of course, CC, Paris Duggar in the house. Appreciate you. Dwayne Dennis. Knicks today. I think I shouted you out already. Y'all know my condition. You might get 2. And some may not get none. It's not personal. Sherwin, I appreciate you as well. Me and Sherwin didn't see the Knick game the same way, last night. But I appreciate you, Sherman. Thurney got it. I appreciate you. Kareem Grant, Joe White. Yeah. The schedule is brutal right now. I think Julius will be fine. I think Julius will be fine too. We're going to take a poll. If I remember, we're going to take a poll tonight whether you think Julius Randle will be fine. And I might even open up the lines tonight again, if I remember. The size thing is getting overblown. We out-rebounded them, and the defense was good. Size isn't the reason Julius and Jalen have been struggling from the field. No doubt. We talked about this. I'm still concerned about the size, but I don't think that's what's hurting us. I don't think that's, like you said, Geoff, we're getting rebounds. I mean, our rebound margin is not as large as it usually is. Like we're out rebounding teams by 1 or 2, or 4. It's not a big margin, but again, we're not getting killed. Teams are, they are able to shoot over us, no doubt about it. I want to take a look at our opponent field goal percentage and see where we are there. But defensively, we're number 2. We're number 2 in defense. And you could say, oh, it's early, but we shooting 40%. Then it's early for that. You know what I mean? Right now, we're number 2. Angel Torres, I appreciate you. JJ, always a pleasure. Vaughn Allen, Building Blocks. Bubba Smith II. I don't know if this is your first time. If it is, welcome to the show. Hopefully you're subscribed. Hit that notification button. If it's not your first time, welcome back. He wants to trade Randle because he doesn't listen to Brunson. I know a lot of fans put a lot into that. I don't. If you've ever been on teams, it happens. It happens. You go at it. So I don't put a lot into that. But I know the fans are really concerned about that. Coach Sierra 617, always a pleasure, always rocking with us. Vaughn Allen, staff. I think I got Andrew K was in here early. Congrats to the Texas Rangers. All right. All right. He said Mitch played good, but got to work on those laser beam free. Now, he said that he's been working on putting some air underneath him. I haven't seen it. Tim Smith, do we have a shooting coach? Yeah, we're going to need that. Salute to David G. Salute to Dripmore, R. De La Cruz, and Ajay. Tim Smith said Brunson will be okay. He's more worried about Julius, Grimes, and Josh. Seems out of sorts, too. Yeah, I'm not arguing with you as far as that's concerned. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. Tonight, the Just Nicking It weekly show. Is it time to panic? And if I remember, I'm going to take some calls tonight. Until next time.
You tune in, that means you're feeling the vibe. The bell rung, you already been subscribed. Right now, the queen, she on live. Please pull over the whip, no phoning when you drive. Dope Soul, sporting with the talk. First lady from New York, Brooklyn. All my people, you rocking with the chat. Hit that. The like button would tell me where you at. Step from the MBK. Born and raised up MBK. Hey, real lady, where she holding it down. No matter way how you feel, she gon' greet you with a smile.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Don't so.
Where you at?
Don't so.
Where you at?
Don't so.
What?